Welcome to today's podcast. Tomorrow, Book More Weddings 2019 comes out, so get excited for that. It's available from Thursday until Tuesday, and then Tuesday it closes until January 1st. So you can still watch the videos, you just can't purchase them and can't enroll in the course in that time. It is basically everything that I know to be successful in 2019, which includes the 9 steps that you need to be doing, or the 9 things that you need to be doing. You might have stumbled across some organically, but some of them are very important and you might be missing out on them. So check out the course. Head over to my Instagram, the easiest place to find that, and go to one of the swipe up advertisements for it, or the course is actually in my bio as well. So you're able to click on that if you want, starting tomorrow. So put it on your calendar and get it as soon as you can. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have with it. So if you go through the course and you have any questions, feel free to let me know what those questions are. And I will do likely a secret podcast style thing where I do a Patreon secret podcast every week. And I will likely be doing that and releasing it to everybody that picked up Book More Weddings 2019. So that is, I guess, future to come. So today's episode, I'm talking about not getting burnt out. So this is definitely a thing that's especially kind of on the tails of yesterday's episode, which was all about how to shoot multiple weddings in a weekend, which is definitely a bit of a struggle. And I find myself, the most struggle that I ever have is whenever I was shooting lots of weddings. So if I'd be doing a triple wedding weekend and I would be shooting like 12-hour days at each of them. When I was like 19, 20, 21, like it was no problem. But after like almost getting the challenge of it over, that the fact that like, oh, like I did it, the next time it wasn't as fun anymore. So what I was doing was I was basically customizing my wedding packages and my pricing to be exactly what I wanted to be doing. And by just making like that what was for sale just what made me happy really did have a significant impact on my business. The other thing with photographing weddings is that any changes you make now impact your business 12 or 18 months from now. So if you are on the verge of something, or if you think that something might not be the right fit for you, make those changes now so that you're not hating yourself a year or 2 years from now when you're actually photographing those weddings that you booked. For my actual commercial work, what's making me not burn out and what's making me very happy with that is one, I guess this is kind of like an overarching principle for my entire business. And that is the fact that like I always do things with people that I enjoy doing them with. So instead of like hanging out and drinking beers and watching like television, usually what my friends and I are doing, we're out filming episodes of the food show, or we're doing a podcast, or we're filming YouTube videos or doing travel videos. And we always have a purpose. So for instance, when we go to Japan in a couple of weeks from now, Marshall's coming with us and he's documenting everything. We're doing like 5 different projects and 8 or 9 different videos that I'm going to be editing through. And it's a lot of fun to go out and create those works and also have a fun time doing it, so that when you're creating content and you're in control of what you're building, you're able to make that whatever you want. That if you want your video content to be you drinking beers and watching television and commenting about that, that is a viable option. And as long as you do it smart and you do it with a little bit of I meant business. But business is a funny term for Disney and business. So I guess what an accidental segue here for good reason. So my friend Leslie, she was going to LA for the first time a long time ago, maybe like 8 years ago now. And maybe even more than that. I'm going to say 8 years ago. And she was excited to go to Disney for the first time, and she had never been to Disney. And if you're familiar with Disney, you can't wear costumes in the park because it's weird if you're an adult and you're not like a Disney character and you dress up in a costume and then the kids run up to you. And it's not a thing you're supposed to do. So don't do it ever. So what Leslie's workaround was essentially creating this thing called Disney bounding, which was outfits styled as like what Mickey Mouse or Minnie, or specific versions of them like Cruise Ship Mickey, or really any Disney character, what they would be wearing and how you can emulate that in your style in real actual life clothes. And it started this huge, amazing movement. And it was not like, this wasn't a business plan. It was literally just a Tumblr blog that she made, and she started putting out content, and other people got obsessed with it, and other people started doing it, and it created this huge movement at Disney. And now it's, if you're familiar at all with Disney, I'm sure you're familiar with Disney bounding. But if you're not, it's essentially like, it's a huge thing in a very small or a large community, but a niche community. And it's just very interesting that that's kind of the direction that her business went. And she wasn't really loving what she was doing before. And then this thing started taking off, and it obviously had legs, and she just focused more time on it and then started building side brands based off that. So now she does a clothing line and all kinds of different things that are related to this this persona that she's created through the media. So if you are thinking about like that you're just like not happy with the direction that your life is going, just start doing something that you actually want to be doing. And if it seems like people are interested, invested, and willing to share it and get involved and help you out, or just be excited for you on a legitimate level, which is actually so hard to find, that is probably a good avenue for happiness. And how you tie that back into your photography, or even if that is photography, if that's a photography project, just know that there are no real official rules and no official avenues that you have to go down. That even if you want to be a wedding photographer or you want to be a commercial photographer, that there are lots of different ways to do it. And my overarching thing has always been like, do things that you enjoy, that you love, with people that you also enjoy and or love as well, and you will have a very happy life. So some other things that I do for my actual, I guess, just like non-burnout, non-mental stress, is that I actually really enjoy that weddings are very seasonal. So during the summer, I shoot over 70 weddings. So in between, basically up until this last wedding that I shot, this was my 71st wedding. And then I have one December 27th. And so essentially between like April and now, which is like November 21st, in between these two dates, I photographed 71 weddings, which is a lot. But now I have from like now, we get to travel for a bit, and then I have one wedding in the end of December, and then we have I have one wedding in January, none in February because we took all of February off. I think like one or two in March, and then one or two in April. So it's in comparison, a very light season through the winter. So we're able to travel. We're able to take the entire month of February off and just go and do whatever we want. And most of the time, like, so my big thing has been at the end of every wedding season to just book a trip. And usually that is a solo trip. I find that, again, like my introverted nature, that if I go somewhere far from home, one, I love the fact of getting on a plane for a really long time, because that almost like resets you in it of itself. I really enjoy the process of being on an airplane, which is maybe a little bit strange. I don't love the travel and logistics that go into it sometimes, but I like just kind of being alone and just kind of going on this adventure by myself. And I like to go down, like New Zealand is one of the spots that I've been a bunch of times. And from Toronto to New Zealand is like pretty much you're like 36 hours in transit. No matter, that's like the fastest way you can kind of even do it. And I love that 36 hours because that really resets you. And then you arrive in New Zealand and it's all this beautiful scenery. And even though I'm out there with my camera taking photos and I'm not like just relaxing on a beach somewhere, it's a completely different style of photography. And it really does just like, I don't know, restart my brain and zero my brain out. And usually on the plane ride there, I come up with a few ideas for projects that I would like to do that would make me personally happy as well, which again is like kind of going back to the personal happiness, life freedom, and just like being in control of your life and not letting your portfolio or just money dictate the direction that you go. The other place that I really like to go, it's kind of become maybe my third home. I'm going to call my second home Las Vegas because I just spent so much time there when I was building my photography career. My third home I would consider to be Tokyo. I love Tokyo, and the reason that I love it, and this trip that's coming up, actually I'm there in December and January, and both of those trips are more group style trips, so it's not my typical that I've been kind of doing for the past 6 or 7 years now. And what I like about Tokyo best is when you go there alone, there's so much going on. There's like so much visual interest. Like you can walk around and you can pretty much just like walk out of your hotel and just pick a direction and just walk that way for like 2 hours. And you'll discover some of like the most amazing things you've ever seen in your life. And you can't just go on like a blog and just find them. Like it's just way easier to just go out and just go for a walk. So I like to do that. Usually you'll see me there in November. This year, we've kind of deferred that to December and January for a ski trip. But the other thing that I like about Tokyo specifically is that the language is so far from English. And it's, I guess, like the more, even over the past, I think I've been going like 8-9 years. And even over that time, I've noticed that the English, I don't know, the English efficiency and the fact that you can get around speaking English a lot easier is definitely there. But the first couple times that I went, it wasn't really like lost in translation. Like you could definitely get around. Like you have a cell phone, you can look on Google Maps if you got to get somewhere, and it would tell you what train to get on and how much the train costs, and that it leaves in 2 minutes and your exact arrival time, and everything is perfect. But with when like actual communication with people, for the most part, it wasn't really high level. So like you could buy things, you could order from menus, you could use Google Translate to translate things, but you wouldn't really be in any conversations or any useless conversations, just like kind of shooting the breeze, or like just conversations that don't really have a purpose. So to go there and to just like relax and decompress and know that I don't really have to talk to anyone, and that if I can spend 2 days doing that it pretty much reboots me for like the next 4 months. So that's something that I have personally found that works. I had no idea that was going to be the case. Like the reason that I went to Tokyo the first time was because I saw Lost in Translation, and then I watched it like 15 times in a row, and I was like, I guess I have to go. So that is kind of where my obsession with it started. That I went and I realized that I love everything about the culture, and I love the fact that I know a little Japanese now, but I know really next to nothing. So there's no way that I can enter a conversation in any way. I can just I have a shellfish allergy, so I can let them know not to feed me things that are going to kill me, and say thank you and a few other things. But beyond that, like my communication skills are very limited, and I just want to kind of keep them that way. That I don't have a desire to like just become fluent in the language. I like the way that I can go there, and that there's so much going on, but also I can be in my own space, and that really does help me, and help me from burning out. Like in the summer, that if I'm like having a busy week and that I have absolutely no time, and it's back to back meetings and shoots, that I know that I have this like small thing to look forward to, and that basically gets me through that day, no problem. So find whatever it is that gets you through days, and whether that's a beach vacation, for me, it's just kind of always travel. I like to be doing things. I find that if I'm just staying still, that I don't really, I don't know, like the shark metaphor, that I don't really feel like I'm doing anything productive. I feel like I'm just kind of sad if I'm not doing anything. So I like to keep busy, keep doing things, keep creating projects that I want to be doing, and replace the projects that I no longer want to be doing, or that I'm doing for the money, with projects that I actually want to be doing. And it's a process. It'll take a bunch of years, but I think that it is worth it. And when you are actually doing all of the things that you want to be doing, like when your wedding days are always exactly perfect, like what you would want them to be, that it's 8 hours of coverage, it's 10 minutes from your house, you know the coordinator, you know the planner, you know the florist, that you walk in and it's like seeing friends again. That is when I think photography becomes really cool. Same goes with like any sort of commercial shoot, that if you're doing it with your friends and you're able to have creative control over that, it makes it a much better situation than walking into a room with a crew that you are unfamiliar with, into a project that's already been storyboarded and all of it is outside of your control, and you're there to shoot it. So obviously, like in the beginning, like take any jobs you can, but as you start to grow, if you do start to feel yourself burn out, really do start to just understand what makes you happy, and to make that decision. I think it was like a Derek Sivers quote, or a book maybe that he wrote, that every answer, like when somebody emails you or proposes like, hey, do you want to shoot this music video? It should either be a hell yes or no. And there is nothing in between. That if you take count and you're like, oh, like I would like to do that a 7 out of 10. If you hit that 7, is it a 6 or is it an 8? Do you want to do it, or do you not really care? So take stock of that whenever a new job offer comes in. If you are fortunate enough to be in the position that you don't need to be taking every single job on, but obviously in the beginning, do everything you can, because the bonus to being able to do everything that like kind of comes in is you actually are able to find your passion maybe a little bit faster. I was fortunate that I kind of selected weddings, and it turned out that they were just as great as I wanted them to be. But there's lots of other styles of photography that I could have easily found myself into or found myself attracted to. And even I have to kind of fight the temptation to do different styles of photography from time to time, because I know that I kind of have to protect at least my like kind of travel commercial / wedding business, and I can't really go too much outside of that to get too crazy in like the art world or things like that. And but at some point, maybe that's what's going to make me happy. That's at least like in my mental my mental mind as I'm thinking through things. Sometimes I'm like, I just really want to like start creating stuff that just, it makes no sense and it's funny just to like myself and like 5 people that know me pretty well. And I don't know, maybe I'll start creating that work. And if I'm ever stuck and not having fun anymore, I feel like that's going to be like the thing that I turn to, is just like really creating really funny, insane, interesting artwork. But we'll see how that goes. Right now I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing. Get to go to Japan, get to go skiing. We're off to Naples, Florida next week. Not even next week. That's tomorrow. Okay, so I have a lot of things to do. I should get off this podcast and head to the airport tomorrow morning to see Devin. We get to fly in his plane down, which is really awesome. So he has a new plane that we get to take down to Florida from Toronto. So that's pretty badass, pretty wicked. So tomorrow, the official launch of Book More Weddings 2019. So get over there and get that course if it is something that you're really interested in. It will give you the 9 things that you need to be doing in order to be wildly successful. It also comes with a huge amount of bonuses. So click through on my Facebook bio. It'll be there, and you're able to get through my profile to be able to see all of the bonuses that it comes with, because I would spend the next like 10 minutes just describing everything that comes with this course. But it really will be something that changes your photography career. And if it doesn't, 100% money back guarantee. So just let me know. Send me an email. I am Taylor@taylorjacksonphoto.com. If you're not 100% happy, just send me an email back and I'll be happy to refund your money. But that all said, you're going to be super happy. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.